Hi, everyone. My name is Jackie Wright, and I'm inviting you to spend a little bit of time with a very wonderful guest that we have here today. This, of course, is Wright Enterprises Community Spotlight, San Francisco and Dallas. And you know, we wouldn't be here where we are at the AACC in the Bureau Clay Memorial Theater if it were not for our producers. And I want to just give a shout out and a thank you to Will Hammond and also to Ken Johnson. And I am just so thrilled to be able to meet wonderful people like this gentleman that is sitting next to me, Mr. Mawuli Tugbenyoh.
You did it.
Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Relax the rest of the show here. Okay, I'm going to call you M.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. But really so excited to have you here at this historic place. There have been so many wonderful things that have happened here, so many great individuals. And for me to have this show here where we are letting the community have additional voice, it is just really an honor. And for you to take time from your busy schedule as the executive director of the San Francisco Human Rights Commission, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today.
Yes, thank you, Jackie, for having me. I mean, really, it's an honor for me to be sitting with you and doing this interview. So thank you for inviting me on.
Okay, isn't he just great? just so gracious and everything. You know, speaking of inviting you, we're also inviting the public to come on Wednesdays. At 11 o'clock, we do this taping here. And we have plenty of seats right now, but we're hoping to fill them here in the Burial Clay Memorial Theater so people can have an opportunity to see live in action a show being developed and also have an opportunity to meet some of the wonderful guests and everything that we have. And I would invite everyone to come down because we have a wonderful workforce development program that's happening here through Talios. If you'll notice right here, we have a little bit of the coffee, and this particular brand is called Harlem of the West. And what's so great about Alton Rents and what he's doing is that he blends these coffees that are named after our neighborhoods, underserved neighborhoods. So that's really great. And you can come buy yourself a cup of coffee, and you don't have to wait till Wednesday. He's here Monday through Friday as well, you know, and you can come down and have a cup of coffee. But it's just indicative of what's happening here in terms of this particular space being utilized in a significant way that is just not linear, but that is affecting people's lives in so many ways. There are individuals that have limited work experience that he's hiring from the neighborhood, and so it's just a wonderful thing. So, hey, come have your cup of tea or coffee at Talios, especially before you come and sit down and hear what our wonderful guests will be saying to us. And speaking of which, the Human Rights Commission. What's that about? What's the mission of the Human Rights Commission? It's a very important commission, but not everybody understands the functioning of it or the mission. Tell us a little bit about the mission.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I mean, the history of the Human Rights Commission is significant. We were founded in 1964 by Mayor John Shelley as the interim committee on human relations. We later became the chartered commission in 1990, but our mission then continues to be our mission today to root out discrimination and bigotry and prejudice wherever it's found across the city. And that's a mission that we continue to work to realizing, and mission that I, of course, in this role am committed to.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Your commitment. In terms of your being in this, the position that you are in now as executive director, what about your background or your education? I think you graduated from San Francisco
I did.
State,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
And what prepared you for the role that you're in now?
Sure. I mean, I think it's beyond my education or work experience, I would actually go back, start with my life experience. I think I have the right perspective when it comes to issues relating to civil rights or human rights. I am a gay child of an immigrant. My father's from Ghana, West Africa. My mother was raised in the South in Tyler, Texas. They worked day jobs at Chevron Texaco. My dad worked at the refinery in Richmond. My mother worked in the office as an office manager. In the evening, they would pick us up from school and take us to their small business. They owned an arcade. And I spent my evenings working in that arcade and doing my homework. I would do math problems in between serving customers hot dogs and chili. And from there, I went on to be an administrator at a mental health nonprofit in Oakland, serving individuals who had mental health diagnoses as well as substance abuse issues. Frankly, it's the folks that we see out on the streets today.
Wow.
That I used to work with for about 5 years in Oakland. From there, I went on to work for Malia Cohen, who is now the state controller, but back then District 10 supervisor here in San Francisco. Worked for her for a number of years. Went on to work for Mayor Ed Lee as his legislative director, Mayor Breed. And then I spent several years at our city's Department of Human Resources as the policy director there, which led me to this position as the Human Rights Commission director. I think the culmination of both my professional and personal experiences have sort of prepared me and led me to this role today.
Well, I really appreciate your sharing about your parents and everything. And one of the things, oftentimes when people mention their parents and they say my parents, I like for you to speak their names,
Sure.
because, they're part of the history. And, and especially with the internet the way it is, you can find out additional wonderful things about people. So tell us your parents' names.
Sure. My mother's name is Darlene Tugbenyoh. Her birth name, Darlene Campbell. She is the youngest of 7 children. As I said earlier, grew up in Tyler, Texas, on Cotton Road. And she is an amazing individual. My dad's name is Ben Tugbenyoh. Grew up, in Ghana, West Africa. In Accra, Ghana, West Africa. He's the youngest of 3 children. He has 2 older sisters. He came over to the U.S. when he was 18 years old. Had a very traditional immigrant's story and background. He started in New York with $18 in his pocket. He, worked a million different jobs from, being a dishwasher to working in the fields. And, one story that he often tells us is when he was, I believe I can't remember the state, but somewhere in the South, he worked a grueling day in the fields. And at the end of the day, they paid him and his colleagues with a 6-pack of Pepsi.
I'm smiling because I'm thinking, was that Georgia? Because that's where I grew up. During the Jim Crow years.
Yes, exactly.
My goodness. Oh my goodness.
And so, the 2 of them, I think it was really where I kind of got my spirit of advocacy. I grew up going to community meetings and, my parents advocating for us to vote and to be participants of our neighborhoods. And so, thank you for asking me to say their names because, they are where it all started for me.
Exactly. And so often, you're just such a wonderful, you're more than a pretty face.
Thank you.
as we hear about the depth, in life, we hear all of the corporate spiel and that sort of thing, and we don't get the texture of really what makes an individual an individual. I mean, you're describing what your father went through, and getting a Pepsi at the end of the day made me immediately think about my background of coming, growing up in the South and everything, which was a limited amount of time, considering that my father was military and we used to move around. But when I finally, the Jim Crow South, when we got stuck there after he died in Vietnam, it was like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. But it taught me a lot of things and a lot of resilience.
Right.
And in listening to you, that resilience that your parents had, just really tremendous. For people to be affirmed and to know about the struggles and the various things that go on. So I asked you a little bit about the mission of it and everything, and you said it started 60 years ago. And I'm going to jump right into, okay, how do people engage the Human Rights Commission, and why should they engage what would make them come through your doors or to pick up the phone to call you? What are the circumstances?
Sure. Let me start by answering that question just by saying, in 2025, it is a pivotal time for our city and for our department. And we have a huge mission, as I said earlier, to root out discrimination across the city. We have not achieved a utopian society where all things are equal and there's no discrimination. In fact, discrimination does exist, and it persists, and it's on the rise. And if people are experiencing discrimination, I would ask them that they do come through our doors, that they do reach out to us so that we can support them. We offer many services, whether it's through our Office of Racial Equity, our Office of Transgender Initiatives, who provide services to our trans and non-binary brothers and sisters. We run a program called the Opportunities for All program, which is an internship program focused on the youth of the city and creating pathways to careers for them to really just open up their awareness and understanding about the possibilities that are available to them by being by the virtue of living in the city. We also offer millions of dollars in grant funding to community serving organizations. And of course, our chartered charge is to investigate claims of discrimination, and we do that through our Civil Rights Department. And we are somewhat limited into what we can actually investigate to housing, employment, and disability discrimination claims. But I would ask that people do, if they are experiencing discrimination, that they do come to us and let us work with you and figure out how we can help.
So in terms of those areas that you work in, and if someone comes in and they have issues or problems or something that you cannot manage, where do you refer them to?
Sure. I mean, there are options for people. If a claim is out of the jurisdiction of our department, we do our best to be creative to help individuals. We try to mediate cases whenever possible. I see our department as a vehicle to help bring communities closer together, not just to lay the hammer down. We do our best to try to bring individuals and communities together. If we're not able to investigate or mediate one of those claims, then individuals do have the ability to file a claim with the state, state EEOC, so that's an option for them as well.
Okay, great. You know, I like the fact that you said that one of the things that you try to do is to bring people together, to bring solutions and everything. So if it's a department, is it mostly just dealing with the city of San Francisco departments that you work with, or entities outside of it?
So our jurisdiction is within the bounds of the city and county of San Francisco. As far as the discrimination claims, yes, also within those bounds is where our jurisdiction lies. We do, and those investigations are primarily focused on our residents, our community members. We do, of course, work with many of our other city departments on equity issues and just generally creating more awareness about the need to create a more equitable society.
Okay. Well, you know, you did mention that your department your commission is in charge of oversight for a number of grants, millions of dollars of grants. And not to get in the weeds or anything like that, but there have been some issues around the distribution of funds and what was done with them and that sort of thing. Is there anything that you would like to address concerning what's been in the papers about, or in the media generally, about the Dreamkeeper initiative? Have you moved past the hiccups, the problems, or you know, what would you like to say?
Sure,
I don't want to
sure.
put any words in your mouth as to where you are and what's happening.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I would say that I am so proud, so honored to be in this role and to have the ability to support our communities through the work that we do. We have a lot of work to do to make sure that we are running our programs efficiently, effectively, and with the greatest impact. And we have accomplished a lot. I'm proud of where we have come from and the work that we have done to get to where we are today. So that, you know, that is something that we have been working very hard as a department to come out of. And like I said, very proud of all the work that we've done to get to where we are today. And I would just say that it is my goal in this role to make sure that we have the highest standards and that we are serving community through all of the services that we offer, and doing that with the highest impact. So
do you feel at this point in time that you have moved the needle enough, or can you give us an example or some examples of how you have been rebuilding the trust in the community?
Sure.
So.
I would say, I mean, since we are talking about grant funding, I'm really excited that we, a couple of weeks ago, announced a new round of grant funding to about 66 community serving organizations, about $14 million that we're going to be issuing out to community serving organizations. That is really exciting, and I'm really excited to partner with community organizations that are going to, again, help further our mission. Yes.
Yeah, I was about to ask a question. I was trying to get to you to finish what you were saying before I just bounced in there.
That's okay.
But everything. But what are the names of some of those organizations, number one? And then number two, how can the public, find out more? Where can we read about? Where can we, any meetings we can go to as you're engaging these different organizations? How can we get involved and know what's happening?
Yeah, that's a great question. We in the last I believe 10 or 12 weeks, we were providing weekly updates on our website about where things were with the scoring of our RFP and the list of community organizations that we're going to be funding. So that is available publicly on our website. However, we also very much intend to host a number of community sessions once we get these contracts in place to make sure that the community is aware of the various organizations that we're going to be funding, the services that they provide, and we're also going to be using that venue as a networking opportunity for those organizations. I don't think it's a secret that the city's budget is reduced, and so we're doing our best to bring folks together, coordinate services, and again, with the goal of having the highest impact with more limited resources. So you should stay tuned for those meetings.
When the city goes through its periods of downsizing because of the budget and that sort of thing, is there any way or that when you think about all of the major corporations that are around us and that sort of thing, do you have to reach out to them to ask them to get involved in public-private partnerships, or are some of the corporations stepping up, when these shortfalls come? Is there anything like that happening? And if so, if not, what can we do about it for everybody to be involved in the process?
Yeah, I mean, it's another good question. I think I'm just sort of drawing on my city experience, and I would say that, there is a mix. I would say, sometimes the city has to reach out with an idea to let folks know how they can contribute and support. And then other times, there are times where businesses see themselves very much as a part of the San Francisco broader community and the solution. And they do step up to say, hey, we want to work with you on, this initiative. So I've seen it happen both ways.
Yeah, okay. Just wondering, and want to take a few names if there are some stellar ones that we can have on board that we can actually talk to at some point in time. But in your role, I think the mayor appointed you as the permanent executive director.
Yes,
as of September and everything.
Yes.
So so that's great. And I guess since you've been in that role, what are the maybe top 3 or 4 priorities that you have?
Sure. So yes, I'm so thankful to the mayor and community folks who have been with me along the way and supporting me in the background and cheering me along, whether it's through phone calls or text messages, just to say, hey, keep going. But I've been in the role as the interim director for the past year. And really what we first tried to do was make sure that we're a stable organization, so I feel like we have generally achieved that goal. And now what we're working towards is really just making sure that we are getting back to the basics and that we're running our programs effectively and efficiently, and again with high impact, given the limited resources that we have as a department and as a city more broadly. So really just focusing on our youth programming, those internships. We are one of the biggest, if not the biggest, operator of internship program, and that comes out of the Human Rights Commission. And we're going to be working to coordinate with our school district and business organizations to make sure that we're developing that pipeline for our youth to career opportunities. So we're going to continue that work. We're working on making sure that our grant management is run very well and that we're adhering to the highest city standards, and wherever there are policy changes that need to be made, we're ready to step up and lead on those efforts. And really just getting back to our mission of investigating and rooting out discrimination. We're working on beefing up our civil rights division so that they have the resources that they need to make sure that they can go out and do those investigations.
Wow. You know, we're almost out of time, and I should have asked this question earlier, but you know, the atmosphere of this country, the division that's happening, and it's starting from the top in terms of the administration of the U.S., in a way, it's like, is your department valid now when so much is being done to eradicate equality, with DEI becoming a four-letter word? You know, how do you operate to do righteously and civil rights and everything in this atmosphere? I
mean, there is a lot going on out there for sure. I think one of the best things that you can do as an individual and us as an organization is to continue to speak up and call out that bigotry and that misogyny and the sexism and you know, the list goes on, to make sure that it is known when it is happening, and not to put our heads down and act like it is not happening. I mean, the work that we do is even more important today than it ever has been. While we're a 60-year-old organization, you know, in some ways, you know, we've made a lot of advances over the last several decades, but you know, these challenges, they seem familiar. Similar challenges that we saw 60 years ago, unfortunately. So absolutely, our work is critical work. Exactly.
See something, say something is what I'm hearing you're saying as well, and your office is there to help.
Yes.
Is there anything else that, as we're winding down on time, Mawuli, that you would like to express or add?
Sure. Again, I just want to say thank you to you for having me here. Again, it's an honor, and I can't say it's really something that I ever thought I would see happening for myself, but it's real. I just want to thank you for all the work that you do. And again, I'm just so thrilled to be and honored to be in this role at this time for our city and for the country. Again, the work that we do is just so important. Achieving equity for our most marginalized communities is just, you know, a mission that I'm committed to. It's my life experience. I'm a father of 2 daughters. I want to make sure that we're leaving the world a better place for them, just like we want for all of our children. So I just want to thank you.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Mawuli Tugbenyoh.
Yes, Mawuli Tugbenyoh, you got it.
Mawuli Tugbenyoh. I just wanted to just thank you once again for that, you know, expression of that you just gave, and the fact of, you know, bringing in your family, you know, that you have daughters and everything. So thank you for your time, and that's it. You got to come back, because there's more reports that need to be made. This is Jackie Wright with Wright Enterprises, Community Spotlight, San Francisco, Dallas, and thank you, Mawuli.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.